Welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of 20 Coffees. Claire has a very important role at Voyager Estate, the fabulous winery down in Margaret River region. Claire is actually their SOM, which I believe I'm allowed to use that term, which I'm very excited about. And Claire, welcome. And, I'd love to hear a little bit about your role at Voyager.
Okay, well, thank you, Angie, for having me, and it's lovely to be here. Yes, SOM is definitely on trend, and is a far easier way of saying sommelier.
Thank you.
I'm a bit lucky. I have Italian background and speak Italian, so it's kind of comes a little bit easier to me. French term, but certainly very much used in Italy, and I was trained over there as well, so a little bit of an advantage.
Absolutely. I think just as we're chatting earlier, it's one of those words which I would love to master, but I think if we're allowed to say SOM, I'm a very happy girl.
Perfect. So obviously it's also a term that not a lot of people even know about. So it is actually considered to be a wine waiter. So it's somebody that studied a lot of winemaking and wines of the world. In the sense of my career at Voyager Estate, things are a little bit different. I work in one winery, and yes, I do constantly chat with our winemakers and viticulturists, but in reality, it's my job to bring what they do into a consumer environment. So my job is to give people the experience of actually understanding how wines are made. We have a lot of little experiences, some of which we'll talk about today, that give people that really true experience of being in the winery and what it's all involved. And then obviously I do the classic side of things as well. I do come into the restaurant and I work with our chef Angie to create our menus that are wine destinations only. But at the same time, just on the floor in the restaurant, chatting to people about our wines, getting people to try things that are a little bit different. That's my job, together with obviously training our staff to do the very same.
No, and look, Voyager is a beautiful cellar door. Very privileged to have been there a number of times, and there's lots to like about Voyager, from the rose garden out the front, obviously, right through to the cellar door. You have an experience there that you've packaged up that's quite special.
Called our estate tour and discovery menu. So it's a complete, almost an entire day package. It is potentially our most popular experience and has been for many years. Like most things in our lives these days, it's undergone lots of evolution and changes as we've gone through, but we've at the moment settled on an experience that takes our guests out. They start in the vineyard, so they start where the wine actually starts. They learn about how the grapes are grown, what's important to us, our particular climate and special environment that is Margaret River. So they are at Voyager Estate and they're learning about their Voyager Estate wines, but they're certainly not limited to just the Voyager Estate microclimate. We talk very much about Margaret River as a whole, which is a place that we wouldn't exist if it wasn't there. So it's a complete package. From vineyard, we go out into our winery. We actually taste directly from a barrel that is aging at the moment, a wine that's aging in barrel at that time, and then come back and actually do a bit of a tasting of a selection of wines that we feel represent the estate. And of course, from there, our guests go into a lovely long degustation lunch. So we try to set out the wines and tastings so that it gives them a taster of the estate that then they're going to experience over lunch as the complete, well, let's use the word, immersive experience of what we do.
Yeah, look, it's just fantastic, and what a unique experience to go down and enjoy. Like, you might as well, I think, going and having lunch somewhere and enjoying the wine is a great experience, but to have the history and, you know, bring it all together, so there's, you know, the big picture there. I think that's really important. And Claire, is there any innovations that you're doing?
Part of my job is getting out and contacting personally some of our loyalty customers, keeping in touch with them. And while we're doing that, we're actually, we've developed a bit of a series of virtual, well, what we're calling virtual tastings, but they're really a lovely way of just getting together with a whole bunch of our loyal customers and interested people. And to talk about something that is important to us. The first one we only did last week. We've got another one coming up in a week and a half's time. First was all about Shiraz. So we've just released our new 2017 vintage Shiraz, and as a celebration and to give people a bit of a background on that, we tasted that online, but we also allowed people to bring whatever Shiraz they had at home and to chat about it.
It's nice to see you being so innovative and staying connected with your customers, which in this time is super important, and giving them still an experience, like you say, in education. So well done. Now, in your role, obviously you get to try everything on the menu. Out of interest, Claire, what would be your top pick? I know it's hard, but what would your top pick be?
Good Lord, that's the worst question ever.
I know, sorry.
It's like choosing your own children, really. Look, there are a couple of really stock standards that always end up on our degustation. Santi's food is very much a Mediterranean with a lot of different influences from around the world, and Chenin Blanc always seems to balance it.
Yeah.
A balanced wine will always help with making a balanced food and wine match. So that's got to be one of mine. And of course, my own personal favourite. I'm a bit of a Cabernet lover.
Oh, okay,
so
fantastic.
I can never go. Yeah. Oh well, you can't be in Margaret River and not be a Cabernet lover. You get kicked out pretty quickly. Thinking about the current menu, we had our absolute pinnacle wine, our 2014 vintage MJW Cabernet Sauvignon. So a wine that's very much in our hearts because it's dedicated to Michael Wright, our founder, but a stunning wine in its own right. And
look, obviously we're going to be able to travel again, and that's going to happen, and obviously the predictions are it'll be in our own backyard, and I think that's an exciting concept, and West Aussies will be dying to get out of their four walls, which I know I'm personally excited about. And look, what do you, for anyone coming to Margaret River, what would be your top 3 tips, Claire?
I have to give 3 top tips. It would be take your time. Number 1, don't do a day trip. It will never work in Margaret River. There are beaches, there are cliffs, there are forests, there are caves, there are obviously a lot of lovely farms to visit, and likewise now hundreds of wineries to go and visit. So take your time. My second tip is book ahead. And a third, as my tip, try something different. The concept of going on holidays is something that you don't want to forget, and particularly now that we've all had, been restricted from going anywhere. It's not as easy to go anywhere any longer. I think everybody wants to or needs to really think about going on holiday and making it something that is memorable and they're going to think back to for forever. And I think by trying something different and get out on a mountain bike and go traveling through the forests, or I don't know, try surfing, or if you've never tried Chardonnay from Margaret River, make sure you try one. But try something different and make that experience a memorable one.
Oh, I love that message, Claire. Look, Claire, thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. And I have to say, hopefully everyone listening is going to be as excited to get down to Margaret River and obviously give Voyager Estate a visit, and hopefully look at one of these beautiful bookable tours, which I think is really showcasing the best of what you do. So thank you, Claire. And we have to do a cheers at the end.
Cool. Well, a coffee cheers.
It's a coffee cheers. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Salute. You're welcome. Thanks a lot.